Minnesota, this month marks 1 year since Governor Walz signed the PRO Act that protects abortion rights in our Minnesota law. And that law is coming about 6 months after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, leaving decisions on abortion rights up to each state. And today, our state's leaders met with abortion rights groups to look back at the last year and a half since the court decision about what really has changed here and what they think might happen in the future. Heidi was in that room, and she's here to talk about what she heard. Hello, Heidi.
Hi, Jana. Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan met with Planned Parenthood leaders during a roundtable to go over the past 18 months since Roe was overturned. A lot has changed, and new numbers reflect that. The overturning of Roe created a ripple effect, even in states like Minnesota, where abortion remains legal.
Since Roe was overturned a year and a half ago, Minnesota has become an island of access for abortion care.
Ruth Richardson, president and CEO of Planned Parenthood North Central States, says since the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling, they've seen a 25% increase in abortions in Minnesota.
This is not by accident, and it's also pretty predictable, recognizing that surrounding states have been limiting and banning abortion, while Minnesota has been increasing access. And we've seen nearly 100% increase in out-of-region patients traveling for care since Roe was overturned.
At Planned Parenthood's health center in Uptown, while most patients are still from the Midwest, they're also seeing patients from states like Texas and Florida for the first time.
We recently finished a health center expansion to increase our capacity in Uptown and meet these patients' needs. We added 7 new exam rooms, and we're increasing our abortion appointments from 2 days a week to 3 days a week, and this makes a 50% increase in capacity at our Uptown location.
Those against abortion have also been continuing their work.
So we've been traveling the state over these last many months, talking to people about the extreme agenda of the Walz administration and the DFL leadership in our state.
Kathy Blazer, co-executive director at Minnesota Citizens Concerned for Life, says lawmakers last year repealed the Positive Alternatives grant program. Critics of the program echoed sentiments from a report from the Alliance that claims nearly 57% of Minnesota's crisis pregnancy centers make false statements about abortion.
The grant program, the Positive Alternatives grant program, was a funding stream of about $3 million a year. Going to organizations that provide positive alternatives to abortion for women who want to be able to have their baby but are facing difficult pregnancies, facing difficult financial situations, need somebody to walk alongside them through that process and well into the life of the child.
Minnesota Democrats have discussed the possibility of putting abortion on the 2024 ballot, a constitutional amendment as an added layer of protection.
My daughter's living in Montana. And one of the things that Montana is somewhat of an outlier out in that part of the country is they have strong constitutional protections. That's the only thing standing between them being Idaho. And so I think making sure we have the strength in place, making sure we continue to firewall, I'm certainly open to if the legislature determines that's the best route.
Now, there is an abortion legal battle happening in Iowa. If the state's new ban on most abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy ends up becoming law, Planned Parenthood expects they'll see a lot more patients coming to southern Minnesota for care. They recently expanded their health center in Mankato and added medication abortions just this week. Jana.
Yeah, lots of changes in Minnesota for the last year and a half. Thanks so much, Heidi.